Local Justice, presented by Elrod Pope Law Firm, serving our community since 1980. Here's your host, Attorney Ben Leader.
Welcome to Local Justice. I'm Attorney Ben Leader with Elrod Pope Law Firm, and today I'm honored to have with us Attorney April Porter. She is a South Carolina litigator who has appeared in multiple courts throughout the state since 2000. She's appeared in family court, circuit court, general sessions court, probate court, and even the U.S. District Court. She's also served as a magistrate judge and a city attorney for the city of Chester. She's a certified family court mediator and has served as a guardian ad litem for more than 2 decades. So April, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for having me.
I would love to dive right in and hear you tell the viewers a little bit just about your background, where you grew up, and what ultimately led you to the path of law.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Kershaw and Chester County, both counties. My family ran a country store, grocery store in Elgin, so I grew up from an early age working in that store and learning about treating people with integrity, having a directive to be customer service oriented and serving the community. When you have a country store, you serve a lot of different variety of people. So I think my foundation for my work ethic came from growing up in that country store. When I was in 3rd grade at Great Falls Elementary School, my 3rd grade teacher took me to her husband's law office. And I wanted so badly to be a teacher. I loved education. I loved my teacher, Miss Abernathy, and she's standing there with me in front of all of her husband's law books. And I remember as a 3rd grader thinking, I could never do this. This is something beyond what I would have the ability to do. And grew up wanting to be an educator and went to the College of Charleston to pursue a psychology degree and continue in that realm with education, and then tried out for the disciplinary council and was appointed to that council, and that exposed me to the law and due process, and I was intrigued, and that lit the fire for a lawyer. So I didn't grow up wanting to be a lawyer.
Well, that's fascinating. I didn't know the history about the family store, and my dad spent a lot of time in his parents' store as a young child, and he often told me, that he learned a lot about customer service in general, and he credits his interest in the law to his time spent in that store and really the learning the principle of the customer always being right. And it's interesting how that transitioned into the field of law.
Well, when you're working somewhere like that and it's a family-oriented business, of course it's long hours, but you're the banker. You're the grocer, you're pumping the gas, you're handling parts for cars, you're doing farming. It's such a diverse business, and really my practice ended up being tailored much like what a country grocery store is. You have a customer who walks in and you take care of that person. You treat them like family.
And you get to deal with people from all walks of life.
All walks of life.
That's right. You never know what one day is going to be like.
Every day is different.
That's right.
Yes.
A lot like running a law firm.
Absolutely. Never a dull moment.
That's great.
Yes.
And so you went to College of Charleston for undergraduate, and then I believe you went to Mississippi for law school. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
My husband and I had moved to Jackson, Mississippi. During law school, I had my first child, my Trey, who is 28 now. And so as soon as we could, we really wanted to get back to South Carolina to be with our family. And so we were able to move back to South Carolina in 1999. So it's been a few years that we've been back.
And then did you go on to hang your own shingle right away?
For a brief moment, I did, right out of law school, but I was approached to join a firm, so I joined that firm. And then in 2003 is when I actually hung the shingle and didn't get any other offers to go elsewhere, so I stuck with it since then. I've had my own practice since 2003.
That's great. It sounds like an entrepreneurial spirit was in your blood from a young age, and so it was probably always meant for you to run your own business.
My prayer when I opened that practice in August of 2003 was, let me open for a month and not fall on my face. I had a very small vision for a practice and never could have anticipated that here, all these years later, I'm still doing it.
23 years later.
23 years later.
And we've talked some on the show about how few law firms survive 5 years, 10
Yes.
years, 15
Yes.
years, 20 years. You were in rare air.
I had a short goal, 1 month. Just let me do this 1 month. But before we opened, my calendar was booked that first month. So I felt like I was going to be okay. I just had to keep my head down and work hard.
That's right. Well, during the intro, I mentioned all of the different courts that you've made appearances in throughout
Yes.
your career. And I can honestly sit here and say that you have appeared in more courts than any other guest I've had on the show and possibly any other lawyer I've interacted with.
Yeah.
And so what led you to be that diverse in your kind of practice areas and advocacy?
So in a rural area such as Chester or anywhere in the state that you have an area that is a small county, you can't specialize. I was intentional from the beginning that I would be a general practitioner, which is really a dinosaur. Now, you just don't see those practitioners as much. But I trained myself that if Mr. Smith walked in and needed a will, I was going to be able to help him. If Mrs. Smith walked in and needed representation in a criminal case, I was going to help her. I didn't want to not be able to serve the people who lived in my community, which it dictated having a broader understanding of the law and the court system to be able to go from one court to the other throughout the state.
That's great, and that really does require a special skill set because there's different
Yes.
rules in every court,
Yes.
there's different standards, and it's
Yes.
very stressful to keep up with even one court's rules and
Yes.
local rules, and
Yes.
to do that on as many levels
Yes.
as you've done is impressive.
Yes, and well, thank you. I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed having that diversity in my practice. I think it has made me more able to even assist clients in a particular case because I will have a point of knowledge in another case that may, cross that path. So it does make a difference for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing a little bit about your background and what led you to this point in your career. I
Yes.
want to talk a little bit more about your practice now when we
Yes.
return in just a moment.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with more local justice with attorney April Porter. Thank you for tuning in.
As soon as I contacted Elrod Pope, they handled everything. Without Elrod Pope's help, I'd have been paying hospital bills for years to come. Elrod Pope just took the stress and they put it on their table and took it off mine.
Coming to Elrod Pope, I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything was taken care of. It put me in a real calm state because I had someone on my side. I knew that I was in the right hands. It felt great.
We know the type. You like to start early, finish late, make lemon squares, and make payments to the college fund from anywhere in the house. We know you rely on Comporium for the things you rely on most, like a view of the backyard. That's just a bunny, and hundreds of channels to watch, whenever you want. So you may think of us as just your internet company, but we're more like the I didn't know they could do all that company. Comporium, always ready.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not gonna have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Being there for someone in their time of need is what Green Funeral Home has done compassionately for 4 generations. It's a privilege we take very seriously.
We believe each life should be honored and remembered by family and friends. Whether you choose traditional burial in our chapel or another venue, or cremation provided by our on-site crematory, we will help guide you through each step to ensure your needs are met.
We are also available to discuss pre-planning. Peace of mind that you have helped your loved one by making those difficult decisions.
When the need arises, our family is here for your family.
When a bank gets a new customer, they email a bunch of links and say good luck. But that's not us. A community banker sees this as the start of a new relationship, so we come to your office and bring a team of business specialists. Then we train your staff in all the tools they need to be successful. Bottom line, a community banker is in the trenches with your business every step of the way. I'm Catherine Faircloth, and I'd love to be your first community banker.
Welcome back to Local Justice. I'm attorney Ben Leader with Elrod Pope Law Firm, and today I'm honored to have with us attorney April Porter. April, thank you again for joining us and for your time here this morning.
Thank you.
Want to dive right back in. I know that in addition to your courtroom experience, you've also served as a magistrate judge.
Yes.
I think it'd be helpful just to tell the viewers a little bit what a magistrate judge does, what their role is, and
Yes.
What your experience was like in that role.
Yes, so in South Carolina, you can be a magistrate judge and continue to practice as a lawyer. Also, you can be a magistrate judge and not be a lawyer. So it is a unique position for someone to take on. In magistrate court, we deal with DUIs, CD, criminal domestic violence, traffic violations, restraining orders, small claims court, anything under $7,500. So it's a lower court under a circuit court, but is a very diverse court. You see a lot of different people. You handle bond hearings, traffic, it's a mixed bag in that court, but I enjoyed my time as a magistrate judge. I was appointed to finish out a dear friend's term who had become ill and could not finish it out. And I enjoyed it. It was a different perspective for me to be behind the bench and see my colleagues argue cases and see how they represent their clients. And also, to me, it was a service to the community to be able to do that during that time.
That's great, and we often get calls for cases that may not rise to the level of
Right.
circuit court, and we encourage people to explore magistrate
Right.
court, and I think a lot of people are intimidated by
Right.
the thought of that process, but it really is meant for everyday people to be able to
Absolutely.
resolve matters on their own, and it's simple and straightforward
Right.
and much more efficient.
Right. And it is the people's court, and you would see the attorneys come in, but the majority of the parties who came in were not represented. They were trying to go through that process on their own.
That's right.
Yes.
I want to talk about a verse that I know is a
Yes.
central part of your philosophy and your kind of mission and vision
Yes.
in your law practice, and it is, let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what it means to you.
Amos 5:24. Couple decades ago, I received a letter from an attorney who had that quote on his letterhead, and it just resonated to me. So I immediately called him and I said, why did you put this verse on your letterhead? Because I'd never seen an attorney really mix a religion or a Bible verse
Sure.
in their practice. And he said, my practice is Christian oriented, and this is our mission statement. And I said, well, I'm going to copy you. He was a North Carolina attorney. I said, I'm going to copy as my personal mission for my business or for my practice. And that Bible verse is very deep. If you're ever to study it, justice is not just in the courtroom. Justice is in our offices. Justice is in our community. So justice for me, even on a personal level, is helping the needy, helping the oppressed. I think that is what justice is about. Justice isn't just about righting a wrong or punishing someone. It's about fairness and equity. And carrying that with me, that verse I carry with me personally, professionally. It is a benchmark. It is a guiding mark for me. I use it on my website, and some people see it and say, "What is let justice roll?" Because it sounds like more like a mantra or
Sure.
a song maybe, but it is biblically based, and I treasure that verse. I use it. I think about it a lot. When a client comes in to see me, it is my duty to treat them kindly. Serve them well, do everything I can within the confines of the law. Justice is the application of the law. And if you incorporate those things, I think that's the best you can do. And that's what I strive to do.
That's really powerful. And just to touch on faith in general, that's something that's a big part of your life
Yes.
and a big driving force
Yes.
behind what you do every day.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, I call my business model the blind faith business model. I have never had a business plan. I don't have an agenda. I don't try to meet quotas. I go in every day. I serve my clients. And it works out. And I call that my blind faith model. I'm not out to prove anything. I just want to serve. I think I'm a servant to the community. I think attorneys should be servants to the community. And it's not just about representing someone to get money or get income or assets or whatever the case may be. It truly is a service, and I'm honored to do it. And I don't take it lightly.
That is spot on, and I think keeping that focus in mind, the business takes care of itself.
It takes care of itself.
Treat people the right way,
Yes.
do the good work that you've done for as long as you have,
Yes.
and your firm is prospering and continuing to grow as a result of it.
Yes, and very, very thankful. We are a community-oriented firm too, and because the community is important to us, and it's so much broader than just a case that you file in court.
Absolutely. That's really powerful, and I'm glad to see that that's such a central part of your mission,
Yes.
and that you do have that on display for
Yes.
anybody that's looking at attorneys. They know who
Yes.
you are and
Yes.
what they're getting.
Yes, and prayer is a big part of our practice. I pray for my opposing counsel. I pray for the judges. I certainly pray for my clients. Prayer is vital to part of that blind faith business model that we have.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for sharing
Yes.
that. We're going to take another quick break from our sponsors, and when we get back, I want to talk a little bit more about your philosophy on justice and how that plays out in your practice and in family court. So thanks again for your time, and thank you to the viewers for tuning in. We'll be right back with more local justice with Attorney April Porter here shortly.
As soon as I contacted Elrod Pope, they handled everything. Without Elrod Pope's help, I'd have been paying hospital bills for years to come. Elrod Pope just took the stress and they put it on their table and took it off mine.
Coming to Elrod Pope, I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything was taken care of. It put me in a real calm state because I had someone on my side. I knew that I was in the right hands. It felt great.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
When a catastrophe hits, it can be a very stressful time for you. When you have trees on your house, when you have trees on your cars, and you don't know what to do, you call us.
We're not a 1-800 number, we're an 803 number. We've been in business for over 60 years because we take care of our clients. That means taking care of them during claim situations.
We're not 9 to 5, we're 24/7. We're gonna be there when you need us most. Gill Insurance, your local auto owner's agent. Understanding business is how we do business.
When it comes to prescription medications and health needs, Rock Hill residents have been turning to Good Pharmacy for over 50 years.
I've been coming to Good Pharmacy since we came to Rock Hill in 1984, and I would not change pharmacists for anything.
With their knowledgeable staff, you can always trust that your prescription will be filled with complete confidence and care for your health. Good Pharmacy, conveniently located at the corner of Ebenezer Road and Camden Avenue.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the oh, I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
Welcome back to Local Justice. Today I'm here with Attorney April Porter. April, thank you again for joining us. Want to touch on your office because I attended the York County Bar Christmas party at your office, and I was blown away by how great of a job y'all did with the renovation and the current setup of the office. Tell us a little bit about the history of the office and what led you to make that transition.
Yes. So it's the Roddy Patrick Fennell House. It was built in 1892.
Wow.
The location that it's currently at is actually the second location. It was brought there by horses early in the 1900s. The house is just full of history, and for years I would drive by that home and it would just be something that caught my eye. And over the years I saw that it was starting to need some TLC, and my husband and I were able to acquire that property last year, 2024, and so we began renovations at that time. And naivety is probably a blessing because we had our work cut out for us to renovate that building. And I think he had a vision for it. I didn't have the vision. He did. He saw what it could be, and I couldn't get past that initially. But a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, a great contractor and subcontractors came in, and it is a beautiful building, and we want it to be something that the community is also able to use and benefit from. And that's our goal, not to just have it there as a law office, but for it to be something that the community is proud of. And even after the building was renovated, we've seen so much go on just in our block that of improvement. So we are excited that we have been a part of that, and the building is turned out just lovely. It's really renovated nicely, and we're proud to be there.
Well, y'all did a wonderful job and really preserved the character of it at the same time, which I was really impressed by. And one of the prettiest conference room tables I've ever seen. I still don't know how y'all got that table into the building, but it's
involved
impressive.
Taking out doors and a few walls. So it's going to stay there with the building.
That's right.
It's anchored in. It's not going anywhere.
I know one of the other things that you've been involved with is the Judicial Selection Qualification Committee that you've served on here locally. And I think a lot of the viewers may not realize that not every state is like South Carolina. In North Carolina, the judges are elected by the general public, but here we have a different process. And it is so critical to have people like you involved in that process. Tell us a little bit about what your role on that board does.
So on that committee, you are processing. Judges go through different stages for qualifications, and so that committee is just one step in the process. We're one piece of the puzzle. But the neat thing about it is you get to interview those judges, and you get to see their applications, and it's very informative to see why people choose to run for a judgeship or what their background is. And I enjoyed that time of being able to be involved in that committee and review those applications and provide a report back as to what the committee felt as to qualifications or not. And it really gave insight, because a lot of times it would be my colleagues who were running for judge, and I would get to see them and see them in a different arena where they were trying to move that forward. And it was informative, and I enjoyed that work. I felt like that was important work. Perhaps people think judges just throw their name in a hat and they're selected by the State House. It's so much more than that. There's such a long process where they're vetted. And I think that's important for the public to know, that with these judges make it to the bench, they've gone through quite a screening process to get to that point. And I appreciate that. As a lawyer, we appreciate having well-vetted judges.
Absolutely, and I think the results show and speak for themselves. We've got great judges in South Carolina, and North Carolina's process is very different, and I think oftentimes the general public may not have that knowledge and those conversations that you're able to have, and so a lot of times it's just picking somebody off a ballot versus them really being vetted, and I think it makes a big difference.
Yes, I think our judiciary in this state is bar none, and I think because of the process that's involved in selecting them.
Want to shift gears a little bit. I know you're a busy practicing attorney, you're a litigator, you're also a mother, and very involved with your family too. How do you balance it all out?
Well, that's a great question, and my oldest is 28 years old, and I wish I had a great answer. I will say I don't do it alone. I have a lot of help, a lot of support. Having support is so important. And I've joked a lot of times when I felt like I was joked in a way, when I felt like I was being great at what I do, I felt like my family suffered as a result. And if I focused on my family, I felt like my practice would suffer. So it is and continues to be a balance where, and it's difficult. And anybody who says it's not, they're not being truthful. But it's tough. So you take it day by day. make lots of lists. Organization is very important in that world where you're trying to balance so many things and juggling so many balls. And just staying focused on what really should be the priority. Family should be a priority. Your work has to be a priority just because of the nature of the type of work that we do. But I think just staying focused and giving myself grace, because every day is not going to be a perfect day. And one day a family member may not get the attention they need because I'm preparing for a trial. But asking my family for grace, they've given me a lot of grace over the years. And so I'm thankful for that.
I can certainly relate to that. You feel some sense of guilt no matter which side of the balancing act you're trying to juggle that day. As far as kind of wrapping things up, I'd love for you to tell the viewers the types of cases your firm handles now, what all they can contact you about, and what the best way of viewers getting in touch with you would be.
So we are a diverse practice. We handle everything from family court, probate, which is estate planning as well, criminal law, civil litigation, any type of litigation our firm engages in. The only aspects of law that we don't do are personal injury, workers' comp, medical malpractice, those type of areas we don't do, or in bankruptcy. But pretty much else, if we feel we are competent to tackle it, we'll take it on. So we're very much a litigation-based practice. With that, our website is porterlawsc.com. Our number is 803-581-4293.
And now the viewers know where to find you in the beautiful historic
128
home on
Oakland.
Oakland Avenue as well. Well, April, I can't thank you enough for being here. It's clear that justice isn't just a courtroom result for you. It's truly a philosophy and something that's rooted in faith and in service, and you do it for the right reasons. York County and Chester County and the surrounding areas are lucky to have an attorney like you in this area. So thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another episode of Local Justice. We'll see you next time, and stay safe out there. Thanks.
As soon as I contacted Elrod Pope, they handled everything. Without Elrod Pope's help, I'd have been paying hospital bills for years to come. Elrod Pope just took the stress and they put it on their table and took it off mine.
Coming to Elrod Pope, I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything was taken care of. It put me in a real calm state because I had someone on my side. I knew that I was in the right hands. It felt great.
Kidney disease is becoming more and more prevalent, especially with diabetes and hypertension. My training with kidney disease helps me to talk to patients and guide them through the steps that they can take, the changes that they can make into their lifestyles. And we have a dedicated team of providers, including dietitians and pharmacists that we work with to educate patients towards achieving that.
We know the type. You like to start early, finish late, make lemon squares, and make payments to the college fund from anywhere in the house. We know you rely on Comporium for the things you rely on most, like a view of the backyard. That's just a bunny, and hundreds of channels to watch, whenever you want. So you may think of us as just your internet company, but we're more like the I didn't know they could do all that company. Comporium, always ready.
From my first watch I purchased as a teenager, which still runs today, to the diamond ring I surprised my wife with, which she still talks about today. A gift from Norman Hagee is as good as it gets. Whether it's elegant timepieces by Bulova, Caravel, and Bel Air, or ornamental ironwork-inspired Southern Gates collection, or dazzling fine jewelry. A gift from Hagee is backed by over 60 years of family-owned and operated experience. Norman Hagee Jewelers, for gifts as good as it gets.
Saturday, March 14th, celebrate the Look of the Irish in Old Town Rock Hill. Come meet leprechauns with Irish wishing coins. Hear free live music. Enjoy food trucks and plenty of beer. And bring the wee ones for all the inflatables. There'll be no blarney at this St. Patty's Day celebration. Join us Saturday, March 14th, 12 to 7 at the Amphitheater in Old Town Rock Hill. It'll be a grand time.